Hello and welcome back to Thinking About Star Realms. In this video, we're going to be playing Chapter 2, Mission 7 of the campaign. As always, if you have any strategy tips or think that I made the wrong decision at any point, please put it in the comments. Looking at the board here, you'll notice that our opponent is starting with a Brain World in play, which is the best card in the base game. But we're also starting with 10 more authority than they do, and they start off with 5 extra scouts and an extra Viper in their starting deck. So we need to, take advantage of our thinner deck because 2 of our scouts were replaced with explorers, and we need to build up our damage fast to be able to destroy this Brain World. Ideally, we want to destroy this Brain World, right after the shuffle. So we really need to have a lot of aggression in our deck. And this also benefits us because the longer the game goes, the more of our opponent's decks can be scrapped out by the Brain World. So we really need to play aggressive. So going for the 2 missile bots seems like a great play. There may be a line where you start off with like a blob wheel or a battle station. The battle station just to scrap it for damage quickly to destroy the Brain World, and the blob wheel just to hang around so that you can pick up a big ship early. But I think the missile bots are the correct play here, because it will kind of help us, not totally fall behind in the scrap game. And change of plan, we need to grab the battle pod because, we need to have 6 damage in a hand. So having a card that does 4 is much better for us than having a card that does 2. I mean, yes, the missile bot is better for us long term, but we don't get to really have, a viable long term if we cannot destroy this Brain World quickly. So let's grab the battle pod, and we have a command ship come out, which is not what we want to see, because if we're playing aggressive, we are probably not going to have the trade to grab that unless maybe we grab the blob wheel. Luckily, we do have the battle pod to scrap that out of the trade row. I could scrap the explorers, but one, the trade for them is good for picking up cards for our deck because our deck is still, does not have many good cards in it, and 2, that 2 damage in our next deck might be what helps us destroy the Brain World. Okay, the AI is smart enough to know to just turtle. It really needs to just hunker down and outlast us because, again, Brain World, really good long-term plan. We could go for the blob wheel for the command ship and, start going the blob synergy route, but definitely missile bot. And let's also pick up the trade bot because, scrap synergizes very well with scrap. Now, Stealth Needle is a great card. It would be a great card to pick up next round because we would have just shuffled, so we already have 4 non-basic cards in our deck plus the 2 explorers, which copying with the Stealth Needle is not the best thing ever, but still better than copying a scout. The blob carrier coming out is not what we want to see. I'd much rather see a cheap damage source that we could pick up, but our opponent doesn't have a lot of trade yet either. Doesn't mean it can't get the blob carrier immediately because, you scrap 2 cards from your discard pile, draw, 2 scouts off top of your deck, and you have 7 cards to have 6 scouts in, which is very plausible. But, nothing we can do about that. Okay. Hey, but I'm right. But we can get the Stealth Needle and scrap the command ship, which that is good. Out of those, I think I'll get the Stealth Needle first, just because we might turn over something we want to scrap even more than the command ship. Alternatively, if we scrap the command ship, I don't think we're likely to find much that's going to be better than a Stealth Needle. I mean, the Stealth Needle is a copy of the best card in your hand. So, it's solid. Almost always solid. I mean, we would have turned over a Battle Pod, which, it's not that amazing. Unfortunately, the Battle Pod was in this hand, and we don't have enough damage to destroy the Brain World outright here. So, would have preferred to have drawn some more damage in this hand. We do have enough damage in this hand to destroy Brain World at least. And we can thin the deck a little bit. So not quite all is lost. And we can get the Battle Pod or a Corvette. Why not go for another Battle Pod? Just to kind of keep that blob synergy going a little bit. Plus we can destroy a couple scouts, so that's good. But yeah, Corvette is good if we already have the Traderos energy. And, 1 damage in a draw is never bad, but when we want to be destroying, the Brain Worlds and the defense centers, it's not likely to make a difference. The Battle Pod with 4 damage will make a difference, plus it can eliminate cards out of the trade row that we don't want our opponent to have. Okay, so the Brain World's down, and we've thinned our deck quite a lot, so maybe we can burst our opponent down at this point. They have not beaten us in trade yet, and then in authority yet, so that's good. Okay. I don't really like seeing the Trade Bot and Missile Bot in this hand. Because that means... Because we have no discard pile to scrap from. And this hand has 6 trade in it, which gives us the Missile Mech. We could scrap the Scout and get the Trade Escort, but the Missile Mech is a very good, anti-base turtle card. So, yeah. Plus, synergizes with our Machine Cult card, so I will forego scrapping and grab the Missile Mech, but we should probably get rid of the Explorers now because we have a thin deck. I think we don't need to really buy anything to make this deck viable anymore. We just need to thin it down and just run it, because it will quickly output damage against our opponent. Select none. Explorer. Hello, Missile Mech. Select none. Get destroy the defense center. And maintain the damage lead. Ugh. Too bad we did not draw enough damage when Blob World came out. And here, discarding the Viper is a no-brainer, because not like we can get damage past the outpost anyways. Scrapping Scouts or Vipers. Scrap the Scout, because, again, not really buying. With the trade we have, the 2 cards to buy are either the Corvette or the Battle Station. The Corvette is slightly more aggressive, while the Battle Station, it's a bit more defensive, but it does ally allow us to activate a lot of the ally abilities in our machine called cards, which that will matter for a little bit. I mean, I think we're very quickly going to scrap out to the point that that's not going to matter. They're just going to be activating each other willy-nilly, but we're also denying our opponent from having that as a turtle card. Plus, we can scrap it for 5 damage if we really have a turn with no damage, like this one, where, you know, I'd love to be able to destroy the Brain World, but I can't. Go me. Blob Fighter, great card in our deck because we do have, you know, we have Battle Pod, and Stealthy that could all activate it. Okay, grabs a Trade Escort at the top of the deck. Let's see, how far has it scrapped out already? Okay, it still has a little bit of stuff to scrap. So, recycling station's a good target for a Battle Pod. Cutter's a good target for the Battle Pod. Stealth Eater's probably going to also clone a Battle Pod, so maybe we'll be able to just destroy something else. Maybe the Corvette, just because we're going to really quickly run out of trade in this deck, because the trade pod is probably not good long for this world. But we will probably scrap the Viper. I mean, we'll see what happens. So yeah, first scrap is the Cutter, just because it's a really overpowered card for its cost. Then scrap their Recycling Station. Though the Embassy Yacht is also a nice target for scrapping. So let's clone a Battle Pod, get rid of the Embassy Yacht because our opponent has a bunch of bases and they will use them. And I don't think we need the 1 damage that much in this hand, so I think getting rid of it's fine. And I mean, we are really beating up on our opponent. Let's grab the Blob Fighter. And yes, we're also low, but like our deck is almost nothing but fuel at this point. It's just gonna fly around and whip and whip and whip and deal damage. Okay, that 12 really hurt. Luckily, we do have the Battle Station to kind of give us a little bit of shielding next hand. Next turn, I mean. Might as well grab the Corvette. Yes, we might turn over something good for our opponent, but there's a lot of good cards already in the trade row, and this game's not going to go very long anyways. Yeah. Grab the Corvette. Scrap the Scout. I mean, we could get our opponent down to 8 already, but I do like the defense on the Battle Station more at this point to stop us from losing. Rather than, yeah, we'll have enough damage. That is probably fatal. Let's quickly run the math. Man, I don't care to run the math. I'm 99% sure it's gonna kill our opponent, so whatevs. At this point, I'm just curious how much overkill we'll be able to do. So I'm just gonna play this hand out fully. But yeah, as you saw, you know, I was playing like super aggressive. I had really good cards in the trade row, and still, I was down to 14. Like, a bad draw here or there could have ended the game for me. And I mean, I was pretty lucky about getting my damage together to destroy the Brain World. So, this might be one of those missions where you will wanna maybe scoop if the opening trade row does not contain a bunch of damage cards, like you really need to hit damage hard. You want to get, those 4 or 5 damage cards in that first shuffle. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you think I missed anything, please put it in the comments. I always love to see good other people doing good game commentary, so post your own, link it to me, link other people's stuff. I'll maybe repost that on Twitter or whatever. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Bye.